Morning Liberty.
Well, what is up, all of our liberty-loving friends? This is another fantastic episode of Good Morning Liberty. My name is Nate Thurston. Across from me is Mr. Charles Chuck Thompson. The beautiful Friday morning here in Nashville, Tennessee. How's it going today, Chuck?
Here I am.
Charlie is here. There you go. Of course, once again, before the show, we were talking about Kanye West, because I guess that's what we talk about, which is funny because when we were on the that podcast, The System Is Down, with Dan, and we went to, remember we talked about Kanye West on that?
We did, yeah.
And we were like, I know nothing about this guy at all, and I have no idea what kind of controversies are going on. And now we're becoming Kanye West experts.
Yes.
So we finally filled in the gap in our knowledge.
We haven't been there yet. No,
I haven't been, but we've read about a lot of stuff, and so we are slowly becoming experts on the topic. It's Dumb Bleep of the week. That's the day of the week where we throw together a bunch of dumb things that dumb people did over the dumb week that just happened. And a live group, the Fed Haters Club, join gml.com. It's only $7 a month, okay? You can go in there and you vote for which one is the dumbest. About half of these came from the live group. The other half came from stuff that I saved on X throughout the week. I tell you, this was a tough week to throw together, because they were,
as if dumb stuff is coming out, like 5 dumb things every half second.
It's a lot of dumb.
Yeah,
a whole lot of dumb. I told you beforehand.
Do you have Kanye
when
in the dumb?
No, when I narrowed it. What's fun? Okay, I will say real quick. I don't know why, but I never once considered putting that in as dumb.
I feel like it's dumb.
I mean,
maybe we'll have a bonus dumb.
It's dumb, but I think, like a lot of people, the reason that the Kanye thing hadn't blown up a lot is because we've all accepted that he's crazy, and so it just doesn't register as like a serious thing in my mind. Like he's just crazy. So I don't know. I guess you could probably say that about politicians too. They're just crazy. You know, psychopathic, narcissists, stuff like that. There were so many things. When I narrowed the list down the first time, I got it down to 25 things. And then I did another narrowing down to 15 things. And then I got it down to 11. And that's
just
what
couldn't go any further.
I can't go further than 11. And I wanted to make sure we kept in, a couple more things from the live group. I try to give preference to the stuff from the live group. And then there's stuff that I really wanted to talk about too. And stuff that they put in, and there's so many good things in the selection that we could do a whole other episode after this, and then we could do another bonus episode on top of that bonus episode if we wanted to. That's how many dumb things there are every week. But today, we only have 11, and so those are the things that we're going to be going through here. So I reckon we ought to get started, and I just wanted to start off with this old World War II veteran. Let's make fun of a World War II veteran real quick. I wanted to start off with something nice and funny and ridiculous. And let me get over to this video here. I called it Tank. And let's see here. Yeah, there we go. There's that tank. This is a World War II veteran from Europe, I guess from the UK. And he is going to crush fascism again. He already crushed fascism once. And so now he's still working. He's 98 years old, British World War II veteran, and he is going to crush fascism again. And this time, the way he's going to do that is by running a tank. I don't know if he kept this tank or what happened there, but he's going to drive a tank over a Tesla. And that is today's version of fighting fascism that we're going to get from this 98-year-old World War II veteran. Here we go. It says Tank versus Tesla on the screen.
My name is Ken Turner, and I'm 98 years old, and I've served in the British Army in World War II, as did this Sherman tank. I'm old enough to have seen fascism the first time around. Now it's coming back. Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, is using his immense power to support the far right in Europe, and his money comes from Tesla cars. Well, I've got this message from Mr. Musk. We've crushed fascism before, and we'll crush it again. So let's go, shall we? Let's go.
car held up pretty well.
It actually held up pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
like the camera didn't even get destroyed in there. I don't think.
I mean, I feel.
Or maybe it just did right there.
I feel like you might have survived that potentially. I've seen cars not hold up as well as that. It might still be drivable.
Yeah, I think you could put that thing in FSD mode. It probably still drive around right now. I don't even think you got to the computer system in there. So, yeah, I wanted to open up with something that's just completely ridiculous. We could talk about the idea that Elon Musk is bringing fascism back to Europe. And, of course, by fascism, they mean some of these parties like in Germany, like AFD, which from what I can tell has been incorrectly labeled as like a fascist far-right party. Maybe they are far-right compared to some of the other people there, because even the right wing over there would be like left wing over here,
Democrats,
you know. So yeah. And so, which even today's right wing in America are like that also, but they're more like anti-immigration and stuff like that, and that makes them fascist, basically. So you could talk about that and whether or not the fascism thing lines up, or you could also add on to that the idea that you're going to crush this car and it's going to crush fascism. This guy's 98 and he has learned how to virtue signal with the kids already. Like, it does nothing at all. You know what's also really funny? Someone bought this car. Like, Elon Musk gets his money from Tesla cars. So they buy a Tesla car and then they crush it.
Put a fascism license plate on it.
Yeah,
I didn't even get this irony at first, but from the Fed Haters Club, the irony of him needing an American tank to crush an American car. Yeah, good job, Brits.
So there's a lot of dumb stuff in there, and then I hate seeing stuff like that just purely for like a social media, political, virtue signaling video about how you're going to crush. This is what they did in World War II. They drove tanks over the top of VWs, and that basically is how they took out Hitler. But but like, this car probably cost a decent amount of money. They probably could have given it to someone who needed a car, or they could have sold the car and given that money to people. But instead, they just destroy it so you can make a political video that does nothing whatsoever. They're going to do, maybe profit off of the video if it gets a lot of plays. And Elon Musk profited off the video because someone had to buy that car that they crushed. It's totally ridiculous.
It is.
Anyhow, I just wanted to start off with a nice, fun, dumb bleep number 1. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, we got Bernie Sanders for number 2. It's always fun to bring Bernie in.
Wow, I feel like it's been a while.
We went through like
since the burn.
We went through a real lack of Bernie there for a while.
Well, he was behind Joe Biden, I think. So he wasn't.
Yeah, he wasn't doing all the stuff.
He wasn't. Trying to save America.
That's right.
Biden was saving America.
Yeah, he didn't need to anymore because they have won. But now we've got. Let's see. Let me pull up the Bernie video here, and oh dang it, this video is only the short part, 16 seconds long, and this is where they're talking about whether or not he needs a private jet. I was hoping this is a longer video. I didn't check beforehand.
5 rallies in a week. The only way you can get around to talk to 30,000 people. Think I'm going to be sitting on a waiting line at United, waiting, 30,000 people are waiting? That's the only way you can get around. No apologies for that. That's what campaign travel is about. We've done it in the past. We're going to do it in the future.
Now, it wouldn't be so bad if you didn't realize that he's criticized people for using private jets for a long time. Okay.
Yeah. Until he's now able to use them.
He's like, well, this is the only way to get around. You think I'm going to stand in line with those lowly working class people there?
Yeah.
You look at all those working class plebs over there. I'm here to represent them.
I've got to get there first.
I've got to get there. How am I going to get around like they do?
And then people still support him. This is wild.
They still do. Yeah.
It's so wild.
It's so like ironic, or whatever proper word it is, to have like this representative of the working class who's never been there in the working class. He's just read about it. That's all he did. He just read about the working class and never joined it at all. And he just started going around talking about how difficult it must be to be in that working class all the time, but he's never actually been there. There was a pretty nice little compilation that I saw going around this morning. People are really liking these, like hypocritical, you know, Bernie versus Bernie or Douglas Murray versus Douglas Murray or whoever, you know, if you can make a video of someone saying hypocritical things, that's it's doing well these days.
Well, because it just puts the truth right out there.
So if you're just listening right now, it's there's 6 videos here, so you're going to hear on the left what he said previously, and then on the right what he said more recently, and it kind of goes through those 6 videos pretty quickly. It could be confusing if you're not watching this, but if you're watching, it'll make more sense.
How can I get by on one house? I need 5 houses. I own 3 residences. Yeah, I do. I need jet planes to take me all over the world. Think I'm going to be sitting on a waiting line at United? That's the only way you can get around. No apologies for that. Sorry, the American people. We've got the money. We've got the power. Guess what? I'm a United States Senator. How can I get by on one house? I need 5.
All right, so that's pretty good. That's doing pretty well this morning. It's very quick, and I do wish sometimes there was more context in videos like that. But, yeah, clearly he's gone up there and railed against people who can't get by with one house. They need 5. Well, he's in the middle. He's made a compromise.
He's got 3. Only 3.
You know,
Doesn't have 5.
He criticizes people who are flying planes around, you know. They're just flying around on private jets, and he says, of course I take a private jet. It's the only way they get around. I got to get places faster. It's not like you need to get places faster. You know?
Yeah.
I need to get there faster.
I've got 30,000 people waiting on me.
What he's doing is more important. And by the way, it's even more important than, say, like a business person needing to get to a bunch of meetings in a day to, you know, come up with a way to create value in society. That's not important. He's got to go give a speech.
Yeah.
You know, that's the way to do it. Okay.
Most of the time, private jet travel is out of necessity.
Yeah,
most of the time.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, you get super rich eventually, and like it's just nicer.
Yeah, of course.
So you want to do that.
But most private jets are owned by corporations,
and
it's because those corporations need to send their executives to certain places at certain times, worldwide. And it's much easier and faster, and ultimately probably cheaper for them. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's true.
If it didn't make sense to send your CEO to Istanbul to make $1 billion deal, like, then they wouldn't do it.
I like what Clark said here. We shouldn't all have to wait in line. What about private jets for all? You know? Why aren't we pushing this?
Oh, that makes sense.
It's not fair, and I think the compromise is we need some type of a government program to help all of us be able to take private jets around all the time.
Whenever we need them.
Yeah. The rich people do it. And what about, you know, I can't afford that. That's not fair.
MetaJet for all.
It exists. There you go.
MetaJet.
We'll do that. Okay. I like that we're moving through these pretty quickly because later we will not. And so we're going to get through some of these very quickly. That was Dumb Bleep number 2, Bernie Sanders, everyone's favorite neighborhood socialist. Let's make fun of Cat Turd real quick. I think that's fine. This posted by Grifter Els. I guess someone getting a new, you know, we got to make one of these pages, you know, Defiant Els, Libs of TikTok, and you just post about dumb stuff that other people do, you know, that'd be pretty cool. Here's the point. We've made fun of this before, like this Representative Brittany Peterson, who brought her baby out there to give a speech, you know, and she says, I just finished speaking on the House floor about Speaker Johnson's recent move to kill our bipartisan push to allow new parents to vote remotely. This move is anti-women, anti-parent, and anti-family. Now, we made fun of this harshly because she was using her baby as a prop during this speech. Like, come on, you could have gotten someone to hold your baby. You could have got a babysitter at this time. You did not absolutely have to be holding your baby. And Cat Turd agreed. Okay, we agree with Cat Turd. He said, OMG, are you still using your child as a prop? Stop. But then it is funny. I just think it's important to point out that these people, there's just no principles.
There's no,
at all.
It's all hypocrisy.
And even if you support these people, you should support calling them out because it's better for your movement to make sure that people aren't doing hypocritical things all the time. We'll call out Trump, who we voted for doing hypocritical things or pushing hypocritical policies or whatever influencers. It could be libertarians or whatever the case may be.
This might be the only consistent podcast out there.
I think it might be the most consistent podcast out. Dave Smith listens to us to hear about consistency. Okay.
Amen.
That's all right. Anyway, Cat Turd had also posted This is Caroline Levitt, the press secretary, and apparently she's got her kids around with her all the time too. And so someone posted a picture of the press secretary typing with one hand and feeding her son with the other. Supermom. And Cat Turd posts a bunch of fire emojis. Yeah, press secretary, look at that. She's taking care of her kid and doing her job at the White House at the same time. Someone got a picture of her, you know, candid. Didn't know that was going to happen. This wasn't done for propaganda.
Of course not.
Nothing like that. It's not propo footage that's happening right now. So yeah, just be consistent, okay? Just be consistent. If it's dumb, it's dumb. If it's not dumb, it's not dumb. And let's move on to number 4, something that we talked about on Monday. My God, there are so many things missing from this episode that we've even talked about this week. I mean, we've basically been doing dumb bleep of the week all week.
All week.
We just haven't allowed anyone to vote.
I had some white pills for Wednesday, and you said
dumb.
no.
It was just dumb stuff. That's what we talked about. And I think this is the only one from this week that we talked about that's going to be in here. And it's going to be a clip of Donald Trump talking about dolls, but then it's also going to be a clip of Tim Walz talking about dolls. Also, because he's upset about this whole doll thing.
This is dumb dolls.
Dumb dolls walls, as I've always called them. Let's get to dolls. That's what this folder is called. This is where Trump is really doubling and tripling down. I've even seen a new clip out recently of him tripling down on this whole thing that you don't need 30 dolls. And we can talk about consumerism. We can talk about the fact that we waste a lot of money on stuff. In fact, I'll say it before this. We mentioned it on Monday, I believe. There is an argument to be made that we buy way too much stuff, and that we don't, a lot of things that we just don't need. Like, honestly.
Same here.
Does.
My son has an entire section of his room filled with toys.
It's called the floor.
That he opened up for Christmas and birthdays and stuff, and hardly touches them.
Yeah. You really don't need them, okay? I agree with that. We buy so much stuff that we don't need, especially kids. I'm sorry, parents out there. This stuff's all going to get thrown away. It's so wasteful. It's so wasteful. Crap. You ever been to a kid's birthday party? We might as well just throw packets of money into a bonfire and we'll all laugh about it and eat cake afterwards. It's ridiculous, you know? But anyhow, I don't think this is the way that you solve that problem. So there are people that are supporting him on this because they are on the lines of that consumerist society argument that we've been describing. But you solve that problem by people changing and realizing that you don't need all of those things in your life and that there are better things to do with your money. You could save it. You could put it towards a savings account for your kids, or college fund if you want to waste money on that kind of thing. There's all sorts of different ways you could spend your money and be smarter and not waste it on so much crap. But that's not what this is. This is raising the price of all of those items so you still spend the same amount of money, but you get less things for it. And that's not fixing the consumer society problem. Maybe it would eventually when people realize that they didn't need it in the first place. That must be the whole goal. It's 30 doll chess is what we're playing right now. Let's hear this clip.
Said this week, got a lot of attention. You were at your cabinet meeting. You said, quote, I'm going to quote what you said, maybe the children will have 2 dolls instead of 30 dolls. Yeah. And maybe the 2 dolls will cost a couple of bucks more than they would normally. Are you saying that your tariffs will cause some prices to go up?
No, I think the tariffs are going to be great for us because it's going to make us rich.
But you said some dolls are going to cost more. Isn't that an acknowledgement that some prices will go up?
I don't think a beautiful baby girl that's 11 years old needs to have 30 dolls. I think they can have 3 dolls or 4 dolls because what we were doing with China was just unbelievable. We had a trade deficit of hundreds of billions of dollars with China.
When you say they could have 3 dolls instead of 30 dolls, are you saying Americans could see empty store shelves?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they don't need to have 30 dolls. They can have 3. They don't need to have 250 pencils. They can have 5.
Yep.
It really got to the pencils part. Don't get me started on pencils.
That was a direct response to Milton Friedman.
Yeah, right there. You don't need that. There's a danger in Trump making these arguments where you could say, well, sir, isn't it slightly hypocritical that your children grew up taking craps on gold toilets, you know?
Yeah.
And, yeah, I mean, you could look at pictures of the house and stuff like that. So you didn't need any of that stuff, really. You know, you could have used the money on better things,
yeah.
You know, but
who
when
says
you had the
what
opportunity,
a need is?
You got all of these things that you needed, but you're saying that American families don't really need this, and you're actually saying it in order to defend your policies of taxing goods that people pay for. That's really why you're saying it, you know? And so it leaves it open for a lot of people to call you out for hypocrisy. You should be careful on that kind of thing. Tim Walz is, he's upset about this. You remember Tim Walz? He's,
no. Who's this
he's
guy?
a guy who, I think he was a governor or something. I don't know. He's out there talking about these dolls. Now, listen, he's right about the things that he says. It just sucks that he is a tyrannical politician, government official who spends his life telling you what you can and can't do. Okay, so
he's only
keep
saying
that in
this
mind.
because it's against Trump.
Yes, that's why he's saying this, because it's a political win for him to say this, and he can be correct. And we'll play that clip.
Because he told you he would end the war in Ukraine, he would bring prices down, eggs, and now telling people, when did government get to tell you how many dolls your child has? I mean, this was my whole point about this, you know, government just big enough to fit in your bedroom, your womb, and apparently now in your toy chest. That is, it's insane. It's a command economy with him dictating. There's no free market principles. My farmers have worked years to cultivate markets in a free market around the world, and we have thrived at that. We feed the world, we clothe the world, we power the world. Donald Trump is now deciding that he gets to do all of that. And the real thing is to enrich the industries he chooses. He's picking the winners and losers. And in this case, the billionaires are winning, the rest of us are losing.
Okay, so you got to get a couple Bernie lines in there, I guess. I mean, that's
not
fine.
Totally wrong.
He's not entirely wrong.
Yeah.
He is not entirely wrong. The problem is he's being a complete hypocrite right now. I mean, if you looked at the list of things that people on the left or Democrats or liberals or whatever it is that you want to call them support limiting for people or preventing people from buying, you could go through easy lists like I don't know, combustion engine cars, you know, I don't know, stuff like that, or like gas stoves, or of course I'm going to list things. They're just trying to protect you. They're just trying to make life better for everyone. But these are people who literally want to control the products that you buy all the time.
Freon for your air conditioning.
That's right. They cost me $8,000, you know?
Yeah.
They maybe not Tim specifically himself, but people who support those kind of policies.
Do politicians take a hypocritical oath when they take office?
That's what it's called.
Yeah, the hypocritical oath.
The Hippocratic oath that they take. And yeah, like Bailey just mentioned, like this is like 2020. It's there's like a COVID amnesia here. They're like, since when did the government get to tell you how many dolls you get? Since when did they tell you whether or not you could go out to eat at a restaurant?
Or go to church,
go to a concert,
or
a church, or paddle boarding on the ocean,
in the middle of the ocean.
You know? Oh, there's so many things that they know the government that they believe the government can tell you what to do. So it's annoying because
or your child's birth.
Yeah, that kind of thing. It's annoying because he's like correct in this instance where he's talking about it, but those aren't the principles that he governs by at all. And that was one of the craziest gaslighty things you saw during the campaign, was them acting like they were the freedom, the libertarian option to vote for, purely because you'd be able to kill kids. Like that was it. Like if your most important thing is killing the kid, or if you don't kill the kid, you could cut its wiener off. Libertarianism, that's what they're trying to market to right there. Okay. That's the freedom loving team that we had to vote for over there. I know that it's hyperbole to talk about actually the cutting off of the private parts. That doesn't happen until you're a girl and you're like 13 and you can start tops at that time. Okay, so I don't want to be too hyperbolic on this.
It does happen though.
It's sometimes a little bit of hyperbole, you know, goes a long way. Number 5. Oh, back to Trump. Again,
Wow.
I just added this in because it was almost in last week or the week before, and now it's getting talked about again. Did you know that Congress right now is considering raising taxes on the wealthy in order to help decrease the deficit? Okay. And so they are considering this at the moment. They had considered it, they've been brought up, and then they kind of tabled it, but now it's been brought back in again. As they get closer on this bill, they realize people are going to be upset about what the deficit is. The deficit's actually going to go up from all the stuff that they are proposing, and they want to offset some of these tax cuts, like no tax on tips and Social Security and overtime and stuff like that. So this story from wherever it was, no one cares. Go ahead, Charlie.
All right. Donald Trump, in a Truth Social post on Friday, said Republicans should probably not boost taxes on the nation's wealthiest people, while nonetheless saying, I'm okay if they do. Now, here's what's so crazy about politicians. You'll notice in this passage that it has nothing to do with you at all. It has nothing to do with actually helping the people. This is what he says. The problem with even a tiny tax increase for the rich, which I and all others would graciously accept in order to help the lower and middle income workers, is that the radical left Democrat lunatics would go around screaming, "Read my lips," said Trump, referring to a famous pledge by George H.W. Bush in 1988 to not raise taxes on any American, which he broke and then went on to lose re-election in 1992. Republicans should probably not do it, but I'm okay if they do.
Yeah, that's
it's literally all about whether or not they're going to win an election.
How it's going to look for him.
Yeah.
Whether or not the radical left Democrat lunatics are going to be able to use that against him. Now, I don't know if they would, because they would be pretty happy with raising taxes on rich people.
Not if Trump does it, though.
You know, but I guess not if Trump. They'll start giving you all these stories about how it's bad for the economy, probably.
Yeah.
Actually, he maybe should do this just to get those people to be against it for a little bit.
AOC and Bernie will be out there on their private jets talking about how they...
Save the oligarchy tour.
Yeah. Talking about how Trump promised not to raise taxes, and look at him. He's raising taxes now.
Oh, what a liar this guy is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of issues with this right here. So he is fine with it. He's okay with it. He would graciously accept a tax increase for the rich. And there's a lot of problems right there. That's a big problem. Well, first off, that would be bad for the economy. For sure. We are talking about extending tax cuts. Probably what they would do is just not extend the tax cuts for the rich people. It probably wouldn't go up above, what it was in 2017 or whatever. But I'm totally just making that up right here. If this happens, I'll be very upset about that. I think we can all agree that this is very dumb. And you want to know what's so dumb about this? They're doing this because the deficit after this bill is probably going to go up. And there's another way to fix that. Do you guys know there's another way to make the deficit go down?
Cut spending.
Spend less money.
Yeah.
And so instead of spending less money, which all government spending is taxation itself, instead of just spending less money, they're going to spend the same amount or more, and then they're just going to raise taxes on people instead of actually decreasing the amount of government spending. So yeah, that is... frustrating. Of course, this is not something that we know is in the plan yet. It's just very disappointing. I don't know why it should be disappointing, really, or why it would be disappointing, but it's concerning to see this kind of support.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene real quick. I woke up to this one. That must have been on like Monday or something this week, or earlier in the week, when she tweeted this out, and it was so good. It was going so well
till the very end,
until you found out what she was actually mad about.
Yeah.
And so she says,
all the narratives are wearing off. Vietnam was a pointless war, and we lost. There were no weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Afghanistan was a waste, and we gained nothing from any of those wars. This is starting off strong.
That's good stuff. Yeah.
Saudi Arabia has nuclear weapons, and the 19 terrorists from 9/11 were all Saudis. Did we go to war with them? Nope. North Korea has nukes. Do they?
Yeah, of course they do. Yeah.
Okay. Little Rocket Man hasn't blown us all up yet, but we were told he was going to. Pakistan and China have nukes as well, and the big bad Russia has nuclear weapons. We were told Putin was going to sweep across Europe, just like Hitler, and that hasn't happened yet either. And he couldn't take Ukraine in 3 years. Still hasn't.
No.
We've been told Iran is on the verge of having nuclear weapons at any moment for as long as I can remember. People just don't care anymore because none of these things actually affected our lives unless they are in the military and shipped over to these foreign countries and blown up. All great. But as any woman does. But what has directly affected Americans and people that I know is the cartel's constant flow of drugs into every single city in America and cartel crime and murder. I've never seen a Houthi, nor has anyone else I know. But what everyone knows is that for some reason we don't attack the real enemy that kills Americans every single day. No, we have to run off and bomb some country somewhere else in the world because we're told they're the bad guys, even though they never did anything directly to Americans like the cartels have. So she's upset that we're not bombing the cartels in Mexico.
Yeah. That was so good. It was almost amazing.
It's so weird. She typed all of this out. It's like, okay, then what do you...
Yeah.
You don't think bombing the cartels in Mexico is to turn out the same way?
You don't think there's any other reasons that we have an issue with the cartel that also could have been caused by our government at any point in the past, or laws that we have on the books right now that create this very profitable black market for these people to sell these drugs?
I know Obama didn't have any scandals during his presidency,
no, he
but
didn't
you
have
remember
any.
The scandal where
the tan suit?
Where he was giving American weapons to the cartels?
Yeah, they did a movie about it.
Yeah. It wasn't a scandal.
Called Fast and Furious.
But it's a scandal.
Yeah. Not a scandal.
And then one of those guns ended up killing a federal agent?
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember that?
Yeah, a Border Patrol officer, I think. Pretty sure.
And the fact that our government, probably CIA, works with the cartels to get these drugs in.
Of course. You think we haven't armed and funded all of these people?
Yeah.
Not only that, I mean, we don't have to get into a libertarian drug conversation right now, but the entire thing exists because of the drug war in the first place. That's the entire reason it exists. So that's pretty annoying as well. No, we should not be bombing cartels in Mexico. Just, if you want to, let's just finish that border wall and then make that stuff, a lot more ironclad to get into the country. That'd be one way to do it without bombing people. That'd be pretty good. But
how about we
she's
stop
mostly
funding
against
them?
bombing people, Yeah, we could do that. Oh, good. We made it to Jordan Peterson and James Lindsay. Oh, man, I tell you what. After I muted James Lindsay, X has been such a better experience after that. I would recommend it to anyone. Not that you have to keep it out of your feed forever, but somehow, and we don't even follow James Lindsay, and we didn't interact that much with him, but we saw every single post that he ever posted. Every time I swear, every time he commented on something, we saw the posts. It was just filling up everything. And since I muted him, the entire woke right thing has left our X feed. It's been amazing.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't mean, we can unmute him. We want to see what's going on. Plus, you need dumb stuff. How are we going to get dumb stuff if we keep James Lindsay muted?
It's weird. You mute the person who's talking about woke right.
Yeah, I just can't hear it.
And then
it just offends my sensibilities.
It no longer exists.
It's gone. That's a good one too, because that means, I'm telling you, dude, I haven't seen it anywhere. It's like, he is the only person talking about this, and he thinks it's like this some amazing thing he's come up with, but it's not catching on at all. Anyway, we have to make fun of this clip between James Lindsay and Jordan Peterson, where the caption here says James Lindsay interrupts Jordan Peterson to desperately make the word woke appear as many times as possible. And man, I was gonna pull up that super funny Enter Sandman post.
Oh yeah.
No, I can't remember exactly what it was now. because there's been some people do a really great job making fun of this. So let's get to this post. I'm sure everyone has seen it, but here's that.
Okay, so I want to talk about this Lucifer idea. So Lucifer is the morning star, and he's the angel of the untrammeled intellect. That's how he's portrayed in Milton, right? And he's allied in some strange way with the serpent in the Garden of Eden.
If I might just interject, if he's the morning star, what do you do in the morning after the morning star rises? You wake up.
Right.
Woke.
Right. Okay, so I want to talk about this Lucifer idea. So Lucifer is...
Oh, my God. I got to hear him do that again. Hold on. It's so good.
Interject. If he's the morning star, what do you do in the morning after the morning star rises? You wake up.
Right.
Woke.
Right. Okay, so I want to...
I need to go. I'll be... Full disclosure, I haven't heard this whole conversation. I haven't heard this part of it. For all I know, they make a great point afterwards that really brings it home. You know, you got to be skeptical of 30-second clips of something, all right, that cuts off right at the really funny part. But my guess is they just kind of moved on to the next thing because Jordan Peterson didn't want to make his friend look stupid. That would be my guess, but I haven't actually seen it.
Oh, God.
I woke up this morning, Charlie. Did you?
Well, the sun rises.
Woke.
Sun rises in the east. And, yeah.
All right. So that's one of them.
What about Alex Jones? He's been telling America to wake up.
He has. He's been trying to make people woke. So he's part of the woke right. And then we, unfortunately, we do have a clip here from Douglas Murray on some... Is he on the, the Free Press, I guess. They have a show called Honestly, I believe. And so he says, I wasn't going to put it in here until he just said a lot of things that were incorrect. There's this thing that happens after 2 or 3 weeks have passed after all this controversy. And then he starts talking about it again, but he leaves out important context or kind of paraphrases what people said, but leaves out the part that would contradict whatever point it is that he's making. And you're able to do that because, you know,
that person's not there.
They're not there, and not everyone remembers every word that people said. And so, and plus when you're talking to a friendly interviewer, like they're not going to call you out on it. So you can make that point and just move on. And so I think that it would be wrong if we didn't talk about this.
I don't like the platforming of endless weird, kooky voices from semi-self-taught people. So here's the problem as I see it.
But is the problem with being self-taught, or is
No, it's not. I mean, as I stressed repeatedly in the interview, anyone can say anything they want within the confines of the law. Anyone can have a view on anything. I'm for that. I spent much of my career advocating for that. But that it doesn't mean just because some experts have let themselves down or let all of us down, it doesn't mean that you should simply lift the sluices of your society and allow all the sewage to just flow through it. Mm-hmm. And that's what I see happening. And you see, the problem here is Joe is a very skilled podcaster. People don't realize how good he is until you see somebody who can't do what he does. But if he wants somebody to discuss MMA fighting, you will notice that he does not invite comedian Dave Smith, because comedian Dave Smith has never been in a fight or to a fight, or maybe he has, but I don't think he'd know how to talk about the jiu-jitsu. Maybe he would. Maybe it surprised me. But Joe would not have him on to talk about something that Joe knows about. So why does he have him on to talk about a conflict that the guy knows so little about? Somebody recently upped on...
See, what I hate about this is that he's lopping Dave Smith into like the sewage. Camp.
Yeah.
Like as if Dave Smith knows nothing.
Yeah.
About politics. He's not a Jew. But he is. Mm-hmm. He knows nothing about the conflict. He doesn't read any history or understand. He has no understanding whatsoever. Yeah. He's just a sleuth
Yeah.
That Joe Rogan is platforming and bubbling to the top. So is Daryl Cooper.
Yeah, the point he's making doesn't really make any sense, especially when you take into consideration the fact that Douglas Murray had said in the past that someone who didn't experience the Holocaust could do a better job writing about it than someone who actually did experience the Holocaust, meaning that they could research and they could read other people's accounts of it, and they could do a better job understanding and conveying that to people than someone who was actually there. And so he makes the clear argument that you can read many accounts of something that happened and come away with a really good understanding of it, or even a better understanding of than someone who was actually there.
But that was in the past, Nate.
This
is happening now.
Yeah. Douglas Murray's problem is that he does not like the other side of the opinion on the Israel-Gaza war. Like, he just doesn't accept it. And essentially all history started on October 7th. There was not a whole bunch of stuff that happened before that. That's not a defense of what happened on October 7th, but you do need to have a little bit more historical context, I believe, than just starting on one day. But he doesn't accept any of that at all. There's some more stuff in here we need to.
X, a snippet of an interview that Joe did a while ago with one of these pseudo-historians, where he says, you know, nobody has a right to say that you're a neo-Nazi or Hitler apologist unless they've imbibed your work and listened to all of it. And, you know, it's like talking to somebody who thinks they know about a country who's never been there. And I think, yeah, that was one of the points I was trying to make. I mean,
So what bothered me about that right there is that that's not what Joe Rogan said when he was talking to Daryl Cooper. What he said when he was talking to Daryl Cooper is that it would be like someone, talking about a country, opining on a country that they've never read about or been to. So read about or been there. And he leaves out the read about part and instead just goes with the being there part and says that that's
what the same way too.
That's what, yeah, that's just how he says it.
The pompous being there.
He talks so slow. It's crazy. I should have sped
I
this
was
up.
pretty alarmed by some of, I don't really follow fires I've started in general, but I was pretty alarmed by
the reaction.
I was pretty alarmed by the number of people who found it, including Joe and Dave, found it to be some kind of really weird, snooty, elitist thing to say, if you're going to write about a place, you should have been there or know about it. You should do some of the legwork. I was pretty alarmed about that.
He just said you should have been there or know about it.
Read.
Even
no.
Yeah. How else would you?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, listening to Daryl Cooper, the guy actually quotes letters and cabinet meeting memos and things like that took place during the time periods.
Yeah.
I feel like that's read about it.
He did read about it. I feel like he knows about it.
That's seems like doing a little bit of legwork.
So what?
You know, people hate legwork, but you have to do it.
Because
otherwise you look like a chicken.
Because I saw Douglas Murray, I think in 3 instances in this one video, take things out of context or leave out context on the things that he used in order to help bolster his opinion on the matter. I learned that I really can't trust what his opinions are on it, because these are all things that we've all talked about a lot over the last month, and we've seen the clips go around. And he, I would guess, intentionally left out like the front half of the sentence that would have contradicted the point that he's making in order to just make the point that he's making. And so you got to be careful.
Just like the Fed Haters Club say, we call that gaslighting.
It is, yeah. It's
he also said something important there, which he said, I usually don't follow fires that I start.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's legit gaslighting.
It is. He started the fire.
Yeah.
Real quick, we got 1 minute on this one. It did really well. I saw it going around, a bunch of people reposting it. This is a nice cleanser before we get to the actual meat of Dumb Bleep of the Week, which we're about to get to.
We're almost there.
This is a palate cleanser before we get to the big stuff. So here's Representative Mark Pocan saying, let's be clear, Social Security is your effing money. I saw so many people be like, yeah, of course. I just want to know where I can go to withdraw my money early.
Oh, you can't till you're 65.
Can I get it out?
Well, you can, actually.
Can I get all of it then?
No.
No? Can I get, can I get some now?
No.
I need to get some of it right now. If I die right now, can I go ahead and leave that to my kids?
You can leave it to your spouse. Yeah.
Yeah? Right now?
I think so.
Okay.
Well, when they turn 65.
Okay. They can't get it right then?
No.
If they need to. Okay. That's weird.
Are you disabled?
Can I just stop? I don't want to keep putting my money in there.
No.
I want to keep it instead.
Are you disabled?
Some would say.
Then you could get.
Yeah. Could get some of it.
Disability.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the obvious answer is no. Social Security is a Ponzi scheme. It is not your money. The money that you will receive from Social Security is going to come from people who are paying Social Security taxes at that time. It's going to go from their paycheck, and it's going to get separated out into a bunch of people. Some people are going to stick their hands in there and take a little bit of it out for some other stuff. They got to pay for lap dances for the big guy, and then they're going to give that to you. Your money that you're paying right now is going to help pay for those checks for the current old people right now, because all that money is gone because it's a Ponzi scheme. No one has ever refuted the fact that it's a Ponzi scheme. The argument that they always make is you're entitled to it.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, it's a promise.
And we'll give you $500 a month.
So is that Ponzi
65.
scheme. Yeah. So, all right. So we do that. Another palate cleanser here. I want to make fun of Illinois. Clark, I believe, has been putting some Illinois stuff in the thing for a while. I haven't been putting them all in there, but we're from Illinois, so we make fun of Illinois. We got family in Illinois.
So glad I left there.
Affects them, So Illinois workers could see paycheck deductions under a new state agency. They're going to make a new agency right now to help pay for family and medical leave. Okay, and then on top of that, for pregnancy as well. So
I thought it was free.
It is. It's free when you get it. You don't, except for you have to pay for it. A new bill in Illinois would create a state-run division of paid family and medical leave. To pay for it, workers would see a 1.12% tax taken from every paycheck. Doesn't sound like a lot until you remember the fact that you're in Illinois, so you're already getting screwed. Everything's more expensive and you're paying a lot more taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Critics are calling it a jobs tax, warning it could hurt workers, small businesses, and open the door to costly lawsuits. They're supposed to vote on it today. Anyone have any updates on this?
Mm-hmm.
Anyone? Clark, let me know if you see any updates. Let's see. Okay. Finley said the measure would take money from employee paychecks to form a new state agency. This creates a state-run program that would provide up to 27 weeks of paid leave, depending upon circumstances, for a wide variety of situations, Finley explained.
Free.
It's essentially creating an insurance pool, basically, that when people need to take from it, they'll take from it. And also, the politicians in Illinois are probably going to take from it as well. They'll find different ways to do that. Let's see. The proposed division of paid family medical leave would be charged with the administration of a paid family medical leave insurance program under the direction of deputy director. I just made the insurance part up, but it does make sense. Let's see. It goes to a state-managed paid leave program, and then workers are given up to 18 weeks of paid family medical leave each year, plus up to 9 extra weeks for pregnancy. As an example, if you're making $100K, they'll have the employer and worker pay in a total of $1,120. It's split 60-40, employer to worker. Charlie, is that true? 60-40? The employer is going to pay 60% of this.
Oh, yeah. It's going to, yeah.
The problem with this is that they're lying to you on that, just like they do with the FICA taxes. Just want all of our listeners in Illinois to listen right now. You think that your employer pays half of your FICA taxes? They don't pay half your FICA taxes.
Don't pay any of it.
You pay the entire FICA tax. All right.
In a lower salary.
By getting paid a lesser amount of money. That is what happens. So probably the 60-40 split is what pushed me over the edge to go ahead and talk about this today, because that is how they lie to people in order to get them to support it. And this is not even 50-50. They're trying to lie to you and tell you that your employer is going to pay in more to it than you are. They don't. That is calculated into the cost of hiring you as an employee. And so they look at how much it costs to employ you as a person, the full FICA tax amount that you have to pay, that they have to pay, and this new tax that they're going to have to pay is all calculated and will result in a lower salary for you. So congratulations, Illinois, for continuing to be insane. It's just, I don't think it's going to get any better around there.
No.
Unless all the...
It's another California.
It is. Yeah, it is another. Let's see. Oh, on top of that, it's also progressive. They're going to cap out the amount that richer people who are making, you know, 200-300K, they're going to cap out the amount that they could be getting from this paid leave is not going to be equal to the amount that you've been paying into it, or equal to then what your salary is that you're making.
Of course
the paid leave would not be as much, but of course it's going to be better for people who are making a lesser amount of money than what they would have been paid during that amount of time also. So that's awesome, Illinois. Good job.
Can we just like give California and Illinois and New York, maybe just start with those three. Let's just give them to the super socialist progressives, socialist Democrats, whatever they want to call
themselves. I thought you were going to say give them to Canada.
Yeah. Well, that too. Whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know. They can institute whatever policies they want. They get no help from any of the rest of the United States whatsoever. It's just let them run their ship into the ground.
There are pluses and minuses of stuff like that happening. Like there's a good portion of GDP that comes from a couple of those states. Wouldn't really say Illinois, but there's a good portion of GDP that comes from states like California and New York as well. And then, of course, there's so many people in those states. There's a negative side, which is that, like when California, here's an annoying part, when California makes a new rule about a product, you know, like say water efficiency standards for your shower head or something like that. There's so many people in California. There's so many buyers in California. What's a company going to do? Make one for California, one for everyone else? No, they'll just take the California law, make their product compliant with California's law, and then we're all screwed. So those states screw you even if you don't live there. We get screwed all the time by them. This one's fun. I'm going to try and breeze through this as quickly as possible. All right, as we are 52 minutes into the episode, this is not too bad. Okay, I'm going to start you off with a little bit older story by a couple months. How a tiny federal agency's lawsuit could provide the smoking gun against Doge. Now, this takes you back to March when people are very upset about all the intrusion by Doge into their agency offices. Okay, here's another one here from The Guardian. The little agency that could cheered for active resistance against Trump and Musk. And so it's important to remember things like what Elon Musk had tweeted out, posted out on X, saying the people that are complaining the loudest are probably the ones that have something to hide. And it turns out that this agency, the African Development Foundation, is one that was refusing to let Doge enter their offices, so much so that they had to get the U.S. Marshals to let them into the office.
Mm-hmm.
They were really
not because they're hiding anything.
No.
It's because they care about African development.
Yeah. So let's go to this is Luke Rosiak from Daily Wire, who did a great job on this. Foreign aid official who resisted Doge took secret payments after steering African money to his friend.
No.
That's just part one of these three parts that we have here.
Come on, Nate.
You would have never thought that that kind of thing would happen.
They were helping Africa development.
They're developing
in
Africa. A foreign aid official who refused Doge's access to his agency's financial records may have had a reason to keep auditors out. He steered illicit contracts to a friend who sent him secret payments, according to a law enforcement affidavit obtained by the Daily Wire. Matthew Zahui is how I'm going to say it from here on out.
He's African.
Yeah, he is the CFO of the African Development Foundation, refused to grant Doge access to his books, and told the White House that the agency would not acknowledge President Donald Trump's appointee as chairman of the board. After a dramatic showdown in March, Doge physically took over the building with U.S. Marshals, but control of the agency is now subject of a lawsuit objecting to swooping in with Doge staff demanding access to sensitive information systems, an objection that reads differently in the light of the criminal probe. that is currently happening right now. For years, workers at that small USAID adjacent federal agency focused on Africa have told oversight bodies about allegations of self-dealing, procurement violations, and mysterious offshore bank accounts, many of them involving Zahui, but little was done about it. One action that raised eyebrows was Zahui's insistence on directing both grants and contracts to a company in Kenya called Ghanium Limited. According to spending records, it was awarded nearly $800,000 in contracts without competition. You're supposed to have competing bids for these contracts, but they just went with this Ghanium Limited. For example, 1 year, $350,000 contract for transport, travel, relocation services was executed in March of 2020 when few people were traveling or holding conferences because of coronavirus. They had $350K for travel. According to a search warrant uncovered by the Daily Wire, USAID's Inspector General established by August 2024 that the company's owner had secretly wired money to Zahui's personal bank account at times that matched up with those federal contracts.
Interesting.
Huh. How about that? To date, the DOJ has not charged either man with a crime.
God, can we get some arrests?
I know this is a situation where there needs to be an arrest. I'm telling you, as we go through here, this needs to happen. Ghanium Limited is owned by Mina Gakuri. I'm going to say this, okay, Gakuri, who Zahui is known for decades. So that company is owned by this guy's friend. All right, just so you guys know. Both worked at the Department of Veterans Affairs in San Diego, and then they later moved to Virginia. Gakuri has been in charge of awarding contracts at the VA, then created his own company designed to get government construction contracts by taking advantage of a minority preference program. He created a company in order to get government contracts, something that we have talked about many times. Some people have the initiative and some people don't.
Yeah.
You know, this guy took initiative.
Some people know the inner workings.
I know. It was called Ghanium LLC and was based out of a house in Virginia. Gakuri similarly created a company based in Kenya called Gakuri Ltd. The African Development Foundation is permitted by law to give grants only to African entities. So they created this thing over there in Africa. All right, let me see if we can... Zahui was named CFO of the federal agency after he declared bankruptcy and had his house foreclosed on. This is the kind of people that the government typically want to pick as a CFO for overseeing the expenditures of your money. Acknowledged to investigators that the travel contract was executed after COVID had already shut down travel. He told them the contract was actually used for IT, but Ghanium had no expertise in IT. So it subcontracted that out to a different company, even though they still paid it through this one pass-through company owned by the guy's friend. Of course, that's the way you want to do it. They said that's not allowed, by the way. He gave an excuse for this. He said he's lazy and he doesn't want to find any other vendors. These are the people that work here, and you're the CFO of an organization that's spending taxpayer money, and the excuse he gives and still remains in his job is that he's just too lazy to look for other people, so I might as well give it to the company that my friend owns.
I already got the connection. It's already set up.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
He's going to give me a kickback, but it has nothing to do with that.
Let me see what else we have here. There's a lot more stuff in here, so I want to make sure we get to it. This is about them trying to get in. When Doge returned, staff had locked the doors and refused to let them in, creating a dramatic showdown, according to a lawsuit. Let's see. Doge eventually gained access to the building using U.S. Marshals. Let's see. Zahui said Doge changed the locks, but they didn't know about the back door, and so he still gained access after the Doge takeover, which he probably wasn't supposed to have. Okay. This is about the IT services. He told the Daily Wire that Ghanium performed IT services during COVID instead of the travel services advertised on the contracting documents. Contracting records show the agency, with only 30 employees, was separately paying astronomical sums for IT. This is an agency with 30 employees who paid $865,000 for IT services on top of the other $350,000 that they say was also for IT services. So a little over $1 million for your IT services for your 30 employees. You got to get some contacts
in Africa,
there, man. Okay.
Yeah.
You got to get that. Yeah.
Where they probably make like $5,000 a year.
A former agency employee told the Daily Wire that on top of the $800K in contracts to Ghanium, the African Development Foundation also awarded it grants. Zahui initially denied that to the Daily Wire, then conceded it was true. He said it gave grants to Ghanaium, which it was required to use to buy airline tickets for the agency's African partners to attend events on the continent and take a trip to the United States, where they visited the National Museum of African American History and Culture. And the amount of grants to the company is unknown, they say. Let me get to some of the other stuff. Yeah, it's probably a lot of stuff.
Wait, go back. There's one
What
there.
you got?
So there's an alleged $2 million deposit by Zahawi into a bank account in Ghana in February of 2023 that typically would require signature by at least 2 presently responsible fiduciary agents of the agency. This may also explain why a senior USADF official was unable to account for the major financial discrepancies included in the agency's 2024 budget request. Just a cool $2 million.
Just a couple $1 million. That's not. It's not like billions like we got problems with, these days.
No, yeah. But they refused access not because of this kind of stuff. There's no way.
So after this U.S. Marshals takeover, this Doge takeover that happened, let's see. Until the Doge takeover, the agency was led by CEO Travis Atkins, who arrived in 2021 after a short stint as a Biden appointee at USAID. An assistant to Atkins said after she asked why her paycheck was lower than agreed upon, Atkins informed her that the remainder would be coming from an overseas account. Typical.
Yeah.
He said he sent me an email connecting me with this guy in Africa who asked for my banking information. Within a few days, this guy wired me $17,000, she told the Daily Wire. The Daily Wire reviewed bank paperwork showing the transfer from an account in Kenya. So
seems legit. This is all above board.
You get those emails that say like, hey, I want to wire
I'm
you
an African
$17K. What's funny is like we've been thinking that this is scammers in Africa. It's actually our own U.S. government scammers.
Just trying to give you tax
they're
dollars.
Actually trying to give us money. They realize that we pay too much money and they just want to give us money. So next one of those emails you get, you want to go and respond to that. Another longtime employee said she was eventually put on the payroll of an African partner and was informed she was being paid through an entity in Mauritania. No payroll, state, or federal taxes were withheld from her paychecks. So she works for the agency, but she's been put on the payroll of someone in Africa, in Mauritania. The contracts don't make sense, and they know Doge will find lots of wrongdoing and illegal activities, she said. She also said, I'm not a fan of Doge, but some of the things they're doing need to be done.
Well, she was getting paychecks with no payroll, state, or federal taxes taken out.
Yeah, that was fine.
Hell yeah, I hate Doge, man.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I don't think she should pay taxes.
I don't think she should
honestly,
either. Yeah.
On our tax.
Poor thing. Now she has to pay taxes.
In one instance, it awarded a grant to a Kenyan journalism group called Africa 24 and directed that group to, in turn, pay the salaries of Americans at the federal agency's D.C. headquarters. That meant Congress thought it was a charitable grant to Africa and that the agency had a low overhead rate. In reality, the money was being spent on the D.C. bureaucrats. See, one way you keep this going is to show them that, like, oh, it doesn't cost us. Look at our overhead. It's so low, and we're able to do all these great things. That's because a lot of their pay for their employees was actually getting paid out to these fake charities in Africa that were then paying it back to the employees at the office.
Of course, they're skimming a bit off the top.
Gosh. Let's see. CFO Zahui acknowledged and defended the arrangement. He said a grant can pay for people. That's fine. CEO,
you just didn't know it was going to come back to the United States.
Another former CEO, C.D. Glenn, a former Peace Corps DEI officer and later Obama political appointee at the Peace Corps, reverse engineered African grants to steer money to friends in the United States, employees said. The agency gave grants to the Association of Ghana Industries on the condition that the African group pay Pixera Global, a D.C. organization where Glenn previously worked as a director of business development, to do a study of the artisan sector in Ghana. Agency program manager Kate Ristroff said a videotaped interview. Let's see, we're in that murky territory of like, is this legal? She said, no, it's probably not. So just so you know, to sum that up, former CEO steers money to these places in Africa that then have to pay this group that he used to work at. So they can then do a study in another country in Africa. Okay, yeah. This is I truly
send
believe
money to Ghana to then send back to America to do a study in Ghana.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
That former CEO, Glenn, attempted to voice grants addressing non-existent problems on African groups as a way to steer money to an affiliate of the Aspen Institute, the left-wing Colorado nonprofit called Artisan Alliance. The head of the Artisan Alliance at the time flat out tells us she's a close personal friend of C.D. Glenn. God. The agency offered a grant to the HEVA Fund, an African group, on the condition that it send a portion to Artisan Alliance. The grant was ostensibly to produce personal protective equipment like face masks, even though HEVA told the agency there was no demand for such a thing because affordable PPE was readily available in the region. They didn't need to do it. They were so uncomfortable with the proposition that it asked to cancel the grant. So the agency pushed the plan on a Kenyan group called Ustadi, which also balked, saying, we don't need to pay Artisan Alliance, an American company, to help Kenyans learn how to sell masks. They probably still did it, though, I bet. They said they balked.
Hey,
they didn't. Yeah.
Good for these companies, though.
Yeah. Hey, they're doing a great job.
I'm like, no, we're not going to launder this money for you.
In another,
what are you, psycho?
In another case, a grant to the African group CS Consulting was used to pay the Center for Strategic and International Studies, a DC think tank. It's basically a pass-through to CSIS, they said. So there are so many examples of what is essentially a money laundering scheme that was happening with this agency. And the agency has a small budget, okay? It's $45 million. That's like nothing. It's like, guess what? You wouldn't notice it if it was missing as far as the federal government is concerned.
And they didn't.
But in each one of these instances, what's so crazy is that this is your money that they're doing this stuff with, you know? And they feel fine doing it. They enrich themselves. And then on top of that... But wait, there's more part of this. Top officials use the agency to advance their own interests and live lives of luxury at the expense of those Africans, while forcing some staff to work without pay and abusing others so badly that they routinely cried, a Daily Wire investigation found. This included helping Herbalife. Do you remember them?
I sure do.
A multi-level marketing scheme run by an agency board member. Yes, a board member of this agency ran Herbalife. How about that? It helped Herbalife make inroads in Africa. John Agwanobi, who served as CEO of Herbalife, was an African Development Foundation board member until Trump fired the board in March. How about that? In 2020, the agency partnered with Herbalife. The African agency partnered with Herbalife at Agwanobi's behest. That was 2 months after Herbalife paid a $122 million settlement to the Department of Justice to settle criminal charges that it violated the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. It also paid a $200 million to settle in FTC charges that it was a pyramid scheme that exploited people into opening money-losing businesses. So that's kind of great. ADF made it seem like the partnership was with a nonprofit affiliated with Herbalife, but it was actually with the company itself, which was seeking to expand its reach in Africa. The agency's former general counsel found, according to the Daily Wire. The grants involved paying 5 Africans $5,000 and providing them product donations and Herbalife nutrition staff as global volunteers in their businesses. And then, of course, they set up a bunch of MLMs
inside of Africa.
Out there.
Yeah.
It's reflected that the partnership is being used to drive corporate sales and marketing, not charitable objectives. This is all great stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. By the way, that former CEO Glenn, who there's a lot of terrible stuff about him in this piece, he's gone. Okay, he's now the president of the PepsiCo Foundation, overseeing $70 million, not PepsiCo, but the PepsiCo Foundation, a charitable foundation that's helping people in Africa. And so that's, that's really good. Actually, I don't think that was Africa in that picture, but you get the idea. Just running off to help other people. So anyhow, Charlie.
That was number 10. Imagine that.
That's frustrating.
And by the way, this is just like a small example of what the government is rife with.
Yeah, T-Dub asked an interesting question, though. Who's the dumb in that one? I think it's the whole situation, really. First off, you have people that were supporting this agency who was locking the doors and not letting Doge in using them as like the, carrying them on their shoulders as like this beacon of light against fascism coming to America, and articles from all over the place. I found a bunch of tweets about it too from the usual suspects. And it turns out they were really just trying to hide a bunch of stuff that's hopefully going to get a bunch of them put in prison. I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but when that does happen, they're going to say that's political prosecution. Just so you know. Of course. That's what they're going to call it.
And the thing about it is the people who... It's the narcissists, man, that claim to help you. They claim to help other people. They're virtue signaling. They're trying to convince you that they're the great stewards of helping humanity. And all the while, these fucking bloodsuckers are stealing your money to live lives of luxury.
And they'll attack you when you question them.
And then, yeah, exactly. And
you're the problem.
And what I was saying is, like, our government is rife with this stuff. And they seek these positions of powers to help themselves and people, which is why we argue for the power to not exist in the first place.
Yeah.
Don't give people any control over this garbage. And God, I just, I can't believe we're not mad enough yet after all of these revelations. And the fact that people aren't mad that Trump isn't going to actually rescind any of this.
They can't even rescind
spending
the funds.
We're going to keep stealing your money and my money and Nate's money so that this kind of collusion and theft can continue.
What we're actually finding,
it's disgusting.
What we're actually finding is that they would like to not spend the money that's allocated to some of these places, and instead they'll probably just redirect it elsewhere.
Like there's none of this happening in the Department of Defense.
That's the thing. How much?
God.
How many agencies do you think this is happening at? There was the one that we did
all of
the
them.
Previous story about. I don't remember, FMCS or something like that. I don't remember what it was. I don't remember what it was.
FOMC.
It's not the Federal Open Market Committee, but it's
all of them.
I don't remember the name of it. Yeah, it's probably a little bit of all of them.
It's all of them.
And yeah, we got to stop that. And really, the only way you stop it is by getting rid of all of these agencies.
God, I remember when we first started this podcast. We read a story about how these people at the VA were buying $800,000, $1 million pieces of artwork from their friends to put up at these VA places, and this investigation was done, and they were put on leave, and then they were literally hired back. They found all this corruption. That was like, I mean, God, just go through like Inspector General's reports. And all of this stuff, a lot of this stuff exists out there. We know about the corruption, but nothing ever gets done. These people act with impunity.
I think.
And then if you expose what they're doing, you're the problem. It is demonic.
I think I would like to see some charges against people. There sounds like literal criminal things happening in here. I mean, the whole thing is criminal, but it's like actual criminal activity happening here. And so I would like to see charges on that. Maybe that'll send a warning to some other people. And the other thing that people need to do, we got to talk about this stuff, because the only way these people that have the power to vote on these things are going to take any action is if they feel like they have to. They're going to keep letting everything glide along, float along, and take the easy road as long as they can. But they have to know that people care about this. So, go find Luke Rosiak's story, his tweets, and give him retweets, stuff like that. Share them on Facebook or whatever. Like, you got to get more people upset about this. That's the only way it's going to change. Here we go. This one, after everything, this video right here raised my heart rate so much this morning that I actually checked on my phone to see what it was.
Was it elevated?
Yes. Of everything that we talked about or anything. This video, I'm getting worked up right now, and it is the video of the guy at the Frontier Airlines counter, or at a counter at the airport, talking to someone who's representing Frontier Airlines. Turns out they work for a third party, and we'll play the video, and then we'll talk about that afterwards.
They made their flight. You did, and you think you're gonna check me in? I bet you we won't. I paid for a ticket.
And you
I paid for a ticket.
For agent assist and you checked in 3 hours later. Hello.
I just said that I
was gonna get on your flight.
Yeah, I just said that I would pay the $25.
And you thought you was gonna get on your flight. And you thought you was gonna get on your flight. And you thought you was gonna get on your flight. And you thought you was gonna get on your flight.
I literally paid for a ticket. I'm here 30 minutes. I'm here 30 minutes before my flight, and they're not letting me check in.
And you're not getting on your flight.
Because it's a policy. We don't control that.
And you will never fly.
You were about to let me check in. You were about to let me check in, and you decided that you ain't gonna let me check in.
Make me check you in.
You literally work for a company that I bought a plane ticket for. I'm here 30 minutes before the flight.
Can you please leave, sir?
No.
Can you please leave my personal space?
I'm not in your personal space. This is not your personal space.
This is my stationery.
This is not your personal space. You work for a company. This is not your personal space.
We ain't got to worry about it. We ain't got to worry about it.
You don't have to worry about it. You're literally not doing your job for a customer that has paid for a plane ticket to get home.
I told you to stop putting the camera on me, sir.
I'm literally here at Frontier. I bought a ticket, and they are not letting me check in. For no reason whatsoever.
Well, you said you're never flying the airline again, so we might as well help you out and have you not fly the airline.
I've already bought a ticket. I've literally already bought a ticket, and this is your reaction.
Why do libertarians have the non-aggression principle? And why can't we hit women in the face?
Oh, God.
Just like a good quick punch, I think, would take care of this, for the future.
I will never.
I don't advocate violence. I'm not advocating violence. I'm just hypothetically.
The only thing that could get me to fly Frontier in the future is a video of their CEO beating the shit out of this woman. That's the only.
Black?
That's it. That's the only way I could do
what,
it.
Nate? Whips?
Yeah.
How do you want him to beat them?
So, to clarify the situation, these are all jokes. To clarify, just so you know, we're not advocating actual physical violence in this scenario. The guy was late. There is a policy. I guess Frontier has a policy, and as everyone reads the terms and conditions. So there is a policy that you have to be there at least an hour before your flight to check a bag.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, in the story,
and technically, you have to get on the plane 10 minutes prior to departure time.
I think they lock it up like 20 minutes before.
Oh, really?
Something like that. I don't know what. I'm probably different airlines.
Most of them are 10 minutes. The gate doors will close, and you can't get on your flight even if you're there 10 minutes early.
So the situation starts because he was late. According to him, that really wasn't an issue when he first got up there. He got up there with 50 minutes left. And I believe it was in, I'll look and see where this, which airport it was. According to him, there wasn't a situation until when he went up to talk to them. Apparently, to deal with a Frontier employee at the airport, there is a $25 fee. So that's what that's what the fee was. And, of course, that's a very Frontier thing to do, And so he was upset about that fee. And I guess he said something to the effect of, I'm never flying this shitty airline again. And after he said that, they started refusing to help him get to his plane. According to him, even though we got there with 50 minutes left, the whole process was still working fine. And he agreed to pay the $25 fee. And then he said, I'm never going to fly this airline again. And then they're like, oh yeah, we're not going to.
No, we're not going to
do it. That's where it happened. Yeah. So
there's nothing that frustrates me more too when you're trying to say something and you just keep getting interrupted by someone who's just repeating the same line over and over again.
Why do people do that?
Women. That's what you were going to say?
Sure. Yeah, sure. That's what I was going to say. That's one of the more frustrating things. Like
who's going to check you in?
It's not.
Who's going to check you in?
No, she's like, and you thought you were going to get, and you.
Who's going to check you in? Who's going to check you in?
That's not what she was saying.
What was she saying? It's right there. That's it.
Yeah.
You gonna get on your flight.
Yeah, I just said that I would pay the $25.
And you thought you was gonna get on your flight. And you thought you was gonna get on your flight.
And you thought you was gonna get on your flight.
And you thought you was
Oh,
gonna
and
get on your
that
flight.
little
Like, that's not even
it's
not even like a smart or clever line to say, and then just to repeat it over and over again. Like, she seems like she's got the mentality of like a 10-year-old or something, like just some kind of small child is basically where her maturity level stopped. And here's the deal: even if the customer comes in, even if the customer says something assholish, okay, like, I'm never flying this airline again, that's a complaint from the customer. That's fine. You got to have the ability to be a mature individual and have some customer service. Listen, we waited tables for a long time. You deal with a lot of crappy people when you're waiting tables. I drove Uber for a long time. You deal with a lot of crappy people when you're any kind of service job like that, where you're dealing with people. You can come across people who say something snappy to you.
Matter.
But there's an entitlement mentality. There's some kind of new thing I think happened after COVID where we all got paid to not work for a little bit. That especially happened that like kicked this into high gear. Dude, every time I go to a Target or a Walmart, it looks like it just got looted. Like, people just stopped. Everyone experienced getting paid to not work, and it just stopped after that. Something is definitely different. But I heard that these two got fired, at least these two. I hope the other guy, the guy who from across several other customers who were there, said, well, you said you're never flying this airline again, so we're just helping you out by not letting you on the plane. I mean, that guy also deserves to get punched in the face, probably.
Yeah.
Like, as far as being a decent human being is concerned. So we're not just picking on the ladies. Okay, that guy too. He sucks.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's not exactly that they got fired. That is not how it was worded, just so you guys know. I need clarification on this in order to lower my blood pressure.
I thought I read the article that says they got fired.
The headline does, in fact, say that they got fired.
It says 2 agents did. I think all of them need to be fired.
All 3 of those and
4.
the manager-looking lady
yes.
Needs to be fired as well. Let me tell you exactly what the wording is, okay? In a statement to the Post, Frontier confirmed that they were aware of the situation and had been in touch with the customer. The airline also noted that the agents who escalated the situation with the man had been canned. That's what the person writing the article says. Here's what they said. The individuals in question who work for a third-party contractor are no longer associated with the Frontier account.
Well, which means that they told their contract company that we do not want the services of these individuals
Those
anymore.
2 people aren't going to work for
They can't represent Frontier.
I think Frontier is probably a bigger company than a third-party contractor. I want them to use that.
Well, they can't fire them.
I know that Frontier can't, but I want Frontier to go in there and say, hey, third-party contractor, I need video evidence of these people getting fired right now so I can post online because this is some of the most ridiculous stuff I've ever seen. This doesn't mean they got fired. They're third-party contractor. They're probably working over at Spirit right now. That's probably what's happening. So I need evidence before I ever... No, I mean, I'm not going to fly Frontier anyway. But those airlines are only good if you're like going like you got a date. I gotta run to St. Louis real quick and,
no bags.
And come back tonight. You know,
day trip.
So it's fine for that. Sure. All right, let's get the votes in. We got to go.
Yeah.
Woo.
Get your votes in, y'all.
Number 1 was the 98-year-old World War II veteran running over a Tesla with his tank to fight fascism. Okay. Number 2 was Bernie and the private flights defending that. Number 3 was Cat Turd versus Cat Turd. Number 4 was the dolls comment from Trump, but then also the dumb comment from Tim Walz. Number 5, we had, it just says taxes. What is that? Oh, Trump being okay with the idea of raising taxes on rich people in order to help the deficit. Number 6, MTG. She was so close on being anti-war. Just turns out she wants to bomb Mexico. Number 7 was James Lindsay and the woke. I guess Douglas Murray also had a long part of number 7 as well. That clip was hilarious. Number 8, Social Security is your money. That thing. Number 9, Illinois paid leave program. Number 10, the ADF. not the IDF, the ADF, the African. What was it even called now? I don't remember what it was called. Something Foundation. I don't remember what it was called. Number 11.
The Help Africans.
It was the African thing, you know. And number 11, apart from number 10, that was the Frontier employees that were being nuts.
No affiliation.
No. No,
we
so
know
number 10, yeah, sorry, that might have been confusing. Number 10 and 11 are separate.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
All right, while you're voting, while the Fed Haters Club is voting, then I'm going to tell you to share the show with a friend, a family member, and the children. Leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Go to GodHatesFeds.com, pick up some merchandise, or click the little button on there that says Join GML, or visit joingml.com. Be part of the Fed Haters Club. Get your vote in. Have your voice be heard. It does cost you just a little bit of coin, but don't worry. We are feeding children in Africa when we want to.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your money's safe.
It is safe with us.
With us.
You give us the money, and we're going to have someone from Kenya send you some of it back.
Yeah.
Just so you guys
one of these
know.
days.
Yeah, it'll happen.
Yeah.
Let's
tomorrow.
See. We got to get we got a little bit of a tie happening right now.
There's
so
not
we
many
need some
votes
people to
coming
break
in.
out.
Come on now.
Well, I mean, we need Charlie. You might have to go tiebreaker.
I've already voted.
Did you?
So.
Okay, we might need someone to pull their vote and apply it to either number 10 or 11.
Oh, here we go.
Number 10 is running away. Good job. African Development Foundation. That whole story, that saga.
All right, y'all. If you enjoyed today's episode as I did, then share the show. Like I said, if you don't want to do that, then you're going to hurt Nate's feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to do that. The poor guy has to drive to Illinois later. And you don't, if he's crying, he might wreck.
That would be bad.
Yeah, so this is on you
Mm-hmm.
to do the things I said. Or don't. I don't really care.
No one does.
But if you do, we'll be back again on Monday. Hope you have a good day and a good weekend and a good morning, Liberty.